Alright, I'm going to try to make this video as short as possible. This is my third or fourth take on this, because I forgot something that I really wanted to make sure I included in the video that I previously did and deleted. So, Smith & Wesson Shield, ordered it, finally picked it up about a week and a half ago, finally got to shooting it today. Fresh out of the box, still has the oil finish on there. Didn't bother going through and cleaning it because it's, oil. Figured it should run. It's a polymer pistol. These things are pretty rugged. Got the night sight model, so it has the Smith & Wesson factory night sights installed from the factory, and then it comes with two 8-round mags and a 7-rounder. It's about the only difference, obviously, from the standard M&P is that the night sights and of course the extra mag is you get one 8-rounder, one 7-rounder with the regular one with the 3-dot white, just standard sights. But two things that were an issue, and one thing that kind of should have clued me in right from the get-go, that I ended up experiencing, of course, when I actually went to shoot it. A buddy of mine also ordered one of these, and he mentioned he noticed that this was a problem he was running into as well. He didn't shoot his yet, but just playing around with it, he realized, this is a problem. And again, at the store, they pulled one out of the case. It was just a standard one. And of course, like any gun store you go to, they rack it, make sure it's empty before they hand it off to you. Well, when you went to rack it, pulled it back, there's this, where the slide kind of locks, or stays open like that. You see there's of course now after I shot it a few times, it seems to be breaking in, I guess. But it still has this catch where it delays going back into place. Oh, that's even, there we go. But it was having that issue even after firing a few shots. The first few shots especially, it did that almost each time. The first time I racked the slide, first round I ever went to fire, pulled the trigger, it was a dead trigger, and I was like, what the heck? And I realized the slide wasn't all the way in place, so it wasn't fully into battery, which, again, maybe it'll just take some breaking in. Probably will be the case, but again, should it really do that from the factory right from the get-go? Is it my fault for not cleaning the oil off of it? Maybe, but again, I think it would be able to run just fine out of the box. Regardless, that was one of the issues, but the real big issue is what came to follow once I started actually putting rounds downrange. And I got the targets mixed up here, but again, I'm going to go over them somewhat fast because I want to make this video shorter than 10 minutes. But point of aim, dead center, all my rounds are going over here. And I had 4 targets on the target stand. The frame was pretty much right where the shots are hitting. And I felt like an idiot because we're not supposed to shoot the frames. And I'm part of a conservation club, and they frown upon that. They can even kick you out because of doing that. Because obviously they're handmade. They expect it to happen every now and then, but that much, I mean, that did quite a bit of damage. I should have really kind of thought about that too, but I wasn't expecting it to be that far off from the get-go. Fresh out of the box, brand new. Not having been played with by anybody, somebody modified the sights to their own shooting habits. No, this was from the factory. So, after, about 25 rounds maybe I put in this target, maybe 30, I sat there and I'm like, there's something wrong here. I mean, I shoot pretty naturally to the left, but not that much, and it's just kind of crazy. So, I started looking at it, and I should have looked at it way before I even went out shooting. But take a look at that front sight. You see how far that is off? So this taper on the top of the slide, there's a pretty decent sized gap between the end of that front sight and this taper, the top ridge of that taper. Where you look at the other side, and it's almost perfectly flush, just a little bit shy of being flush with that taper. So that front sight is way off from the factory. The rear sight as well is slightly off. This is pretty much flush with the serrations on the slide here, where the other side is a little bit inletted, so it's not it's a little bit further towards me here than this side. This side's flush, so the rear sight is off as well. What is up with that? Did anybody test fire this thing? I don't know. So I'm going to be calling Smith & Wesson on Monday. It's Friday night. I got to shooting this Friday evening, and by the time I figured it's probably not going to be possible to get a hold of anybody, so I'll wait until Monday and see what they have to say about it, because I'm not going to adjust the sights myself. I'll end up screwing something up or breaking something or damaging something, and I'm like, nah, not going to play around with it, especially on a new pistol. I'd rather do that on an old, worn out one or something. It's not really going to be that big a deal, but this is brand new, so it shouldn't be like that. So those two issues to me were kind of a big deal. Kind of soured my taste about this thing right off the bat. But I'm going to give them a chance to kind of correct the issue, because I think it's got potential. I think I can shoot pretty well with it when it's shooting properly and when it's sighted in properly. My second target, of course, I adjusted my point of aim. Over here is my point of aim, and my rounds started going pretty much where they should be. As you can see, it was quite a ways off. I mean, you're talking at least 4 to 5 inches there. So, again, even the range officer, after this target here, the range officer came by. He's like, "Are you purposely shooting that way? Like, what's going on?" Because, again, I'm damaging the frame, the target frame that they make there. So you can staple the targets to this board in between the frame, but they don't want you shooting the frame. And of course, I put quite a few rounds through the frame like an idiot. I should have probably just stopped after a few, realizing that it probably wasn't me. But then again, I'm new to this pistol, so I'm like, I don't know, maybe it is me. And you can't really see too well. I can't really see too well at that distance, so I'm like, maybe it is just me. Maybe my rounds will start going further over. That obviously wasn't the case. And even the range officer standing behind me a ways could see the difference with the sight. He's like, "Wow." And I had the slide lock back too when he actually was looking at it, and he said, like, "Yeah, man, you could even tell the difference between the front sight and the barrel, because the barrel's obviously sticking out when the slide's back, He's like, "Wow, that's ridiculous. Like, I'm surprised." But of course that, and then this whole slide issue, like I said, maybe that just takes some, breaking in, but regardless, I'm calling Smith & Wesson on Monday, and I will post some follow-up videos explaining what goes down with that. What I'm hoping that they'll be able to kind of say, hey, just take it to a local Smith. We'll get a hold of whatever location you want to bring it to, and we can have them address it there. I have a feeling, though, they're going to say, well, if anything, just send it in. We'll fix it, but then I got to play around with sending it out, waiting forever to get it back. We'll see. But, again, where's the quality control? You're telling me somebody shipped that out? Does anybody look at these before they get sent out? But really? I mean, come on. There we go. Okay. I was going to say, hopefully I can get it to line up again. That's kind of ridiculous. So, where's the final quality check? But anyways, stay tuned. I will post some updates on what's going on with this. Again, has potential, but it's kind of a sour taste in my mouth about it already. But stay tuned, and I will post some updated videos when I hear from Smith & Wesson. There we go.